It's time for Around the Ozarks News, brought to you by the Springfield Greene County Park Board, Thompson Sales, Kitchenland USA, and Smouse Foundation Repair and Waterproofing. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Foreheads.
Well, good morning to you. It's good to be with you on Friday. After missing a lot of the week, I was down in Texas with Convoy of Hope for the horrific flooding situation down there, just catastrophic flooding, and the search and recovery efforts continue there. Convoy of Hope is delivering much-needed supplies to survivors, as well as beginning the process of mucking out houses that have been damaged by the floodwater. But I got to drive a several-mile stretch of road that was right along the river, the Guadalupe River, and it was unbelievable to see how high the water got and to think about how quickly it rose, to see all of the homes, the campgrounds. There's a lot of campgrounds there, and it's a heartbreaking situation. Honestly, to be in that area, the sadness is palpable. You can feel it with everyone you talk to. So the folks there need a lot of help. It's going to be a long recovery process, very traumatic. So if you're a praying person, I ask you to pray for them. And Convoy of Hope is going to continue working there. We'll be there for the long haul. But I missed Sarah yesterday. She left and I came back. She is at a swim meet with our oldest right now. We're hoping to meet up again at some point, but it's been a busy stretch for us. So let me tell you about some news on this Friday. Hope you're doing well. Springfield's Day of Cleanup is being rescheduled. That was set for yesterday, as you know, but the threat of severe weather and a lot of rain, flash flooding, potentially caused the city to cancel it, move it. So it's going to be rescheduled for another day. It hasn't yet been. The city will put together that day-long volunteer opportunity to clean up storm debris that really remains littered all over Springfield. You can still see it if you drive around town. After a couple of really big, strong storms, line of storms that went through our area several weeks ago now. More than 1,100 people say they still need help in cleaning up storm debris on their property. So there's a lot of work to be done. A lot of volunteers were planning to do it. But now maybe this will mean more volunteers can set the day aside to help out. Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice will spend 30 days in jail. He also has to pay a $150,000 fine and restitution after pleading guilty to 2 felonies in a high-speed crash involving 6 vehicles in Texas last year. He was driving 119 miles per hour through traffic and then took off after the crash without checking on any of the other people involved in the wreck. Rice said he was profoundly sorry for his involvement. Work is beginning now in Ozark on a new pedestrian bridge over Highway 65 as part of the Chadwick Flyer Trail project. This has been a long time coming. We've been talking about it. Well, now it's beginning to happen. The city held a groundbreaking ceremony yesterday on the new bridge that will be built right there near the Tracker boat plant. You know where that is. So there'll be a pedestrian bridge for bikes and walkers over 65 soon. The trail is part of a larger system that will connect Springfield and Ozark along the old train tracks that are no longer used. A company that owns Burrell Behavioral Health is merging with another nonprofit. Brightly, which is the parent company of Burrell, is planning to merge with Centerstone out of Nashville. The companies combined expect to serve about 250,000 people every year after the merger. Merger still has to be approved. I think they're shooting for November for that, but it looks like that's going to happen. It also looks like Aldi will be the first tenant in a big new commercial development in Ozark. The Ozark Marketplace will be right off Highway 65 across the street from the Walmart in Ozark. You know where that is. It's a 40-acre parcel of land. In addition to Aldi, a McDonald's, Dutch Brothers Coffee, Plaza Tire, and Casey's are also planning to move in there, and no doubt there will be more stores announcing they're moving in as well in the near future. Evangel is planning to demolish one of the original buildings on campus. Work is beginning on a project to raise the Kendrick Library on Glenstone, which was built in 1963. The school says it needs more space, and the building just costs too much to maintain. So down it comes. Demolition on the Kendrick Library on campus of Evangel will begin this month. And Bambino's Cafe near Missouri State University is finally open again. It opened this week after being closed for almost a year and a half for some pretty major renovations that cost about $1 million, included adding an entire second story to that eatery. Bambino's Italian Restaurant has another location at Battlefield and Lone Pine. And fascinating fact, little trivia for you, Bambino's Cafe right there near Missouri State is the very first place that Sarah and I went on a date. I took her there before a Missouri State Bears basketball game that we went to. The first thing that we did kind of by ourselves. And worked out all right. She's still with me, and she'll still eat Italian. So it works out. Hey, if you're interested in archery this weekend, you can check out a workshop on Sunday in Ash Grove. The Missouri Department of Conservation is hosting a class for beginners to learn the bow and arrow. It will be at the Andy Dalton Shooting Range in Ash Grove from 4 to 5:30 on Sunday. So check that out. You can take your kids too. The Price Cutter Charity Championship Golf Tournament continues today at Highland Springs Country Club. The annual event raises money for children's charities in the Ozarks. Has done an incredible job over the years, giving out nearly $20 million to local charities since it started back in 1990. They do good work. Ran into a speed bump last year, but they're getting back on track, and it really is a great part of the Ozarks, supporting a lot of charities that really depend on it. So good work on the Price Cutter Charity Championship. And then finally, if you like roller derby, you have 3 days to see it in Springfield. The third annual Show Me Skate Invitational Tournament is happening today through Sunday at Brightspeed Ice Park in Springfield. It starts at 10:30 each day. So you can check out the derby, and that'll be a fun event, no doubt. All right, that'll do it for me this week. And like I said, Sarah is out. I expect to meet up with her sometime over the weekend. We'll see. We'll get our family together. But we had an incredible trip to Indonesia. I think we told you about that. And then I was down in Texas this week. And we'll see what happens next week, won't we? It's always exciting. Something's always going on. Well, thanks for being with me today. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.
It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, brought to you by Command Family Medicine, Heating and Air Paramedics, and Taylor Grubosh Chevrolet. Here's your host, meteorologist Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everybody. We made it to Friday in the Ozarks, so happy Friday. It's July 18th, and we are in for yet another day with hot and humid temperatures. I think fewer thunderstorms on the radar today than what we experienced yesterday, but still a possibility for some isolated storm chances. And much like yesterday, some of them could contain some really heavy downpours as well as some thunder and lightning. The other thing we've got on deck as we head into the weekend is temperatures are going to be on the rise. We've got numbers warming up into the 90s again this afternoon. It will be a hot weekend in the Ozarks. It will be a humid weekend for sure. And it looks like the heat and humidity is going to stick around for us for a while as well. A few storms possible again today. So even though temperatures are starting out in the 70s, they'll warm to the 90s. You may be hoping for that rain-cooled air to keep the numbers down a little bit in the middle part of the day. If you don't get it, your high temperatures will likely climb to about 92 degrees. Heat index values in the upper 90s today. It will be hot, it will be humid, and we are holding on to that isolated storm chance once again. There is still a stationary boundary kind of draped across the state of Missouri. I do expect a better rain chance to be in some of our eastern counties later today. We don't have a widespread severe weather threat. We don't have a widespread flash flooding threat, but isolated heavy downpours could certainly lead to some quick ponding on the roads. Places that are already saturated, we're going to be looking out for those areas very carefully, not only today, but through the weekend forecast too, as isolated storm chances remain in the forecast. Temperatures are going to gradually increase for us this weekend. We're just going to add 2-3 degrees to the forecast, but it's going to make an impact in that our temperatures will be in the mid 90s. We will also see heat index values near 105. You may notice the National Weather Service issues some heat headlines for the weekend because of that extreme heat that's going to be building in and the humidity that comes along with it. I do expect that we're going to have to find some time to take breaks in the air conditioning this weekend. If you'll be spending any time on area waterways, just keep in mind your heat safety rules. It really is going to be a warm forecast. A ridge of high pressure is also set to move into the forecast area next week. And this is a typical summertime pattern for us to get this big bubble of hot air in the upper levels of the atmosphere. That's what's going to be moving in, kind of building and taking over our weather pattern. And it means that the heat's not going away. So the numbers that you see on our weekend forecast, I think, will be quite common as we head into the forecast next week. It is going to be a warm stretch of days, that is for sure. Today, we're looking at a high temperature of 92 degrees. I have a south breeze out there today, but nothing too strong. We only fall back to about 72 tonight. Tomorrow, sunny and hot with a high temperature of 93. We will then see lows only in the mid 70s by Sunday morning, and that will allow us to warm to the mid 90s for Sunday afternoon. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, just a little preview. We will see high temperatures in the mid 90s for a stretch of days, and the rain chances, well, they're probably best today east of Highway 65. I think most of us stay dry over the weekend, and next week is looking dry as well as that ridge of high pressure builds in and takes control of our weather pattern. Around the country, we've got active thunderstorm patterns with threats of flash flooding for the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, and the Central Plains. There's also this slow-moving low pressure system, a tropical system bringing flooding and heavy rains to the central Gulf Coast. That will remain today. At the same time, we've got widespread heat moving in for the East Coast, the Ohio Valley, the Southeast, and the lower Mississippi Valley. And that is what's going to stick with us as we head into the early part of next week. And we will get on that heat wave here in the Ozarks. The Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather Brain Twister trivia question for the day. The question that I left you with yesterday: which significant weather-related event known for its devastating impact on the U.S. Midwest occurred in July of 1993? And the options that I gave you were A, the Great Flood of 1993, B, the Dust Bowl, C, Hurricane Katrina, or D, the Joplin tornado. Of course, all of these big impact events, but two qualifiers here. Number one, in 1993, July, and also in the Midwest. And if you chose A, the Great Flood of 1993, you would be correct. It was a devastating and widespread flood that affected 9 Midwestern states from May through September, caused significant damage and loss of life, and it is considered the most costly and damaging flood in modern U.S. history. Record-breaking river levels that extended miles and miles and miles. It impacted the Mississippi and Missouri rivers and their tributaries. So this moved through states like North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Wisconsin, and Illinois. There was unusually persistent and heavy rainfall that year, combined with saturated ground conditions and higher river levels from a wet fall and spring. All of this contributed to the flooding, and the jet stream remained stationary over the Midwest for an extended period of time, which led to these repeated thunderstorms and excessive areas of rainfall. We're seeing a lot of rainfall, of flood warnings all across the country this year. So, of course, we don't want to see a setup like that, but it's been a pretty devastating year for heavy rainfall and floods already, not just here, but across the country. All right, here's the trivia question that I'll leave you with for Monday morning. Which of these famous landmarks is the tallest? Do you think it's A, the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France, B, the Statue of Liberty in New York City, C, Big Ben in London, or D, the Leaning Tower of Pisa in Pisa, Italy? Which one of those famous landmarks do you think is the tallest? No Googling. That takes all the fun out of our fun little game here. You can take a guess, though, at aroundtheozarks.com. Thank you so much for starting off your day here at Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather. I'm wishing everyone a fantastic weekend. And a big shout out to our sponsors, Command Family Medicine, Heating and Air Paramedics, and Taylor Grubaugh Chevrolet. Have a great one. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Friday. We'll chat again early next week.